Hello. In the previous session, we have seen what is hypothesis and different types of errors. Now we are going to see what is statistical estimation. When data is collected by sampling from the population, the most important objective is to draw inferences and generalizations. Now this is one of the objectives that we have seen during the previous sessions of research. So basically we do research in order to draw inferences and generalizations. We do a specific kind of research and then we try to generalize it to the population. So inferences, estimations is concerned with the methods by which population characteristics are estimated. Now, for example, we have calculated the mean, median, mode of different kinds of data. So whatever information that we get, the characteristics of that particular data, if we have calculated the mean, that is the estimation, statistical estimate that we give about that particular sample. Okay, so what method we have used? We have to give the central tendency, to measure the central tendency of data, we have used mean, median and modes based on the types of data. So the methods are called the statistical estimation there. Statistical estimation parameters provide us with the means of obtaining estimates of population parameters with desired degree of precision. There are two types of estimates. One is called point estimate and the other one is interval estimate. So first one, the point estimate. Point estimate is a single number which is used as an estimate of the unknown population parameter. The procedure in a point estimate is to select a random sample of an observations from a population and then use a preconceived method to arrive at a number from these observations. Now, for example, the estimator theta is a single point in a real number scale, and that's the name point estimation. So what do we understand from this is that a value, what we derive by using certain methods, statistical methods, if it is a value which is derived from those methods, we call it as a point estimate. For example, we have calculated the mean. How do we calculate mean? Sum of observations by number of observations. So mean is the point estimate. We get one value. We do not get range of values, but we get a value there. So that value is the point estimate. Now we have two important terms here. One is estimator and other one is the estimate. So estimate is the value, a number. Estimator is the method through which we have arrived to that number. Now for example, if I say mean is equals to 5, mean is the method, so that is the estimator of the data, and 5 is the estimate that we have got by using that method. So I hope you understand what is estimator and estimate. Now point estimate is a value if we are trying to derive something out of the data. Now if there are n observations, if we use mean to find a value, to find the parameter of that particular sample, and we get a value, that is point estimate. Now interval estimate of population parameter is a statement of two values between which it is estimated that the parameter lies. Now for example, we have solved the problems based on normal probability distribution. How do we answer normal probability distribution? We answer it in terms of range from 0 to 2.25 or 0 to 5.6, something like that, between in a given range. So that is interval estimate. So there is upper value, there is a upper limit and lower limit for the estimate, and the value could be anything between this upper limit and the lower limit. For example, if I say p of 0 less than or equal to z less than or equal to 0.25, something like that. Now if I want to calculate the probability of this particular range of data, okay, so z could take any values between 0 and 0.25. So this is an interval estimate. Now if and whatever and we interpret the probability based on the question that has been asked. Now let us see a small example here. If we estimate the average income of people living in a village as rupees 875, it will be point estimate. Okay, so the mean value, average income is nothing but the mean income, right? So mean income of the people living in a village is rupees 875. So we use the basic formula to calculating the mean value, then we get a single value. So if you get x bar is equals to 875, so that is point estimate. Now if we are using normal distribution to calculate, to find out the probability of their average incomes, then you would get the value between certain things. So it lies between 800 and 950. Okay, so the mean lies between 800 and 950. If a range is given to you, then it is called a interval estimate. Okay, now let us see the properties of a good estimator. Now you know how to, estimation is important. We have calculated probabilities and we have given estimates, right? So what should be the characteristics of good estimate? The first one is the estimate should be unbiased. It should show the characteristics of unbiasedness. That means what? An estimator is said to be unbiased if its expected value is identical with that of the population parameter being estimated. Okay, so the whatever estimator you're using has to be the estimates should be provided in such a manner that the population parameter, the value is close to the population parameter. Now you take a sample, you have a population, you take a sample from the population, you calculate the estimate with the help of an estimator. Now whatever value you are getting, whatever estimate you are getting, that should be close enough to the population parameter. Okay, so that is one of the properties of unbiasedness. So that is how you check it is unbiased. Sometimes what happens is you also use variability to check the unbiasedness of an estimator. In some situations, if the variability is more between the data, among the data records, then you say it might be a biased estimate. If the variability is less, then you say it is unbiased estimator. The second property of good estimator is consistency. Now when do you say an estimator is consistent? So whatever value you are getting, the estimate you are getting should be close to the population parameter. Okay, now as and when the value of n increases, now for example, for n is equals to 5, I got my x bar is equals to 2.5. let us assume it is 2.5. now if the value becomes 10, so x bar, if it is close to 2.52, something like that, and if it, as the value of n increases and tends to become infinity, if x bar is giving me value somewhere around 2.56. okay, so there is a consistency with there is a small change in the value of the estimator, but it is consistent. Okay, so that is property of consistency of a good estimator. As and when the value of n increases, the sample size increases and it tends to become as it becomes close to the size of population, the estimate is more or less closer. The whatever calculated value we have calculated should be closer to that of the population parameter. Now the next property is efficiency. The efficiency here refers to the variability of an estimator. For example, if two estimators, okay, we have two estimators and we have calculated the variability with these two estimators. Whichever has the lesser variability is said to be more efficient. Okay, so for example, for normal distribution, we have the point here. For normal distribution, sorry, it's a normal distribution curve. Assume it is a normal distribution curve. I'll do it here, I'm sorry. Okay, so here this is the point where mean is equals to median is equals to mode. Okay, so at this point, now three values will take same, are going to be same if we calculate the values of measures of central tendency for a given normal data. Okay, but then which is better, which is more efficient? Is mean more efficient, median more efficient, or mode? So then we have to check the variability. If the variability is more with the help of mean, then it might not be efficient. If the variability is less with the help of median as the estimator, then we might consider median as the estimator. So most of the times we consider mean is a good estimator. It is efficient because variability is less when we calculate the variability with the help of the mean values. Now the last point is sufficiency. Now a good estimator is said to be sufficient if it conveys as much as information possible about the parameter. Okay, now for example, if I want to find the average income of a given day of 10 employees, I have incomes of 10 monthly incomes of 10 employees. I want to calculate average. So what will I do? I will just calculate it using the basic formula, sum of observations by number of observations. Now mean is enough for me to describe the central tendency of the average income. But if you want me to find out what is the highest value, then probably highest income that has been given, then I might want to consider the range. Okay, so or if you ask me the so if we use mean in that particular situation, so that gives you the complete information about the average income of a set of 10 people. Okay, and sometimes it is unnecessary to consider more than one estimator for its the sufficiency, because one estimator could help us with all the things. But most of the times, in order to check the validity of the data, we tend to use more than one estimator for a given data distribution. Okay, so these are the properties of good estimator. Let us recap what we have learned. So statistical estimation is concerned with the methods by which population characteristics are estimated with sample information. Then there are two types of statistical estimates. One is point estimate and one is interval estimate. Point estimate is a single number which is used to estimate the unknown population parameter, while interval estimate takes any value between the given range. Then properties of good estimator: an estimator has to be unbiased, it has to be consistent, efficient, and sufficient. Alright, so with this we have finished. This is one of the important sessions based on what we solve the problems. And one more important point what I forgot to mention earlier is the interval estimation refers to estimation of a parameter by a random variable called confidence interval. So confidence interval is very important term here. Let's just see. Interval estimate refers to the estimation of a parameter by a random variable called confidence interval, whose endpoints are functions of observed random variables. Okay, now we have seen if a value, now here if you see this example 800, if mean value lies between 800 and 950, now 800 and 950 are the endpoints of this particular interval. Okay, so this is the confidence interval what they are talking about. Okay, so that is the example of confidence interval. We will start with problems from the next session. Thank you.